Hi guys, another chapter 3 section 5 video here if you're following along in your book with us. And our essential question today is how can I write and solve two-step equations? So we are working on building up our equation solving skills. So I find the best way to do these is just try them. Practice them, get used to them, make them more familiar, and they get pretty easy pretty fast. So here's our problem today. We're going to solve for h, and the problem is 7 plus 2.5h equals 13. Now, I'm going to make a little room here. 7 plus 2.5h equals 13. Well, we know the strategy is to put a line down the equal sign. We're trying to get h by itself. So we got to move the 7 and we got to move the 2.5. So I'm going to flip the 7 over to a negative 7. That's going to be my first step. That way I can do 13 take away 7, which is 6, and I'll still have a 2.5h. Now I got to get rid of the 2.5, but how do I get rid of it? How do I get it away from that h? Well, I divide it. I'm going to divide by 2.5. And now I grab a calculator. I grab my calculator and I type in 6 divided by 2.5. And I get h is equal to 2.4. And there's my solution. All right, let's try something here. I'm going to give you two problems now after watching that example, and I want you to test yourself to see if you already have this down pretty good. So here are your two problems. The first one is solve for m, and the second one is solve for x. They both involve decimals, so grab a calculator, hit the pause button on your device, and see if you can do them. All right, so you grabbed a calculator, you've tried both these problems, you're unpausing the video, and you are ready to check your answer. So let's see how you did. So let's go with the first one here. To get rid of that negative 0.5, you got to divide it away. You got to get rid of the negative 0.5. Now, negative 4.3 divided by 0.5, I don't know what that is without my calculator, but I do know a negative and a negative divided is a match, and that's positive. So the answer is a positive 8.6, and I hope that is what you got too. And then on letter B here, I'm thinking we better flip that 4.7 over and subtract it away. Negative 8.3 minus 4.7 is a negative 13, no more decimal. Nice even negative 13 equals x. There's your second answer. Now if you didn't get the right answer, could have been a calculator mistake. You should double check how you typed it in. Or maybe you made a mistake in your method. You need to go back and look to figure that out. Okay, so moving right along here, we're going to talk about what a mathematical sentence is. So why are we practicing solving for x? Well, eventually we're going to be using this for some deeper problems. And here's a typical math sentence. B plus 3 equals 22. Now we could translate this sentence into like an English sentence. It's like using Google Translate to switch between languages. Math is its own language. It's a language just like English and Spanish and French are. It's the language of numbers. And so if I was to translate this, I know B is a variable, so it's a number. I just don't know what it is. And when I'm adding it to it, translating that into English is like the word and. So I have a number and 3 equals 22, but equals is the word is. So it is 22. So here's my English sentence. A number and 3 is 22. This is why I like math. Math is short and sweet. I'd rather write b plus 3 equals 22 than write the whole a number and 3 is 22. That's kind of a lot, but there's my translation. So let's try a problem that involves that now. Example 2 here. Here's my sentence I want to translate. 3 more than a number x is 15. Right away I'm like, man, this sounds so mathematical. I can hear all these key phrases. 3 more than a number x is 15. Well, we have a number x, so that kind of stood out to me, so I'm going to write down x. We have 3 more than a number x. 3 more means to add on 3, and it is 15. That means it equals 15. Hey, there's our equation. X plus 3 equals 15. We could solve that equation, no problem. Put a line down the middle. What do we need to do? Take the 3 away, subtract it to the other side. We're going to have x all by itself if we do that. 15 take away 3 is 12. So there's our answer. There's our mystery number. All right, so let's try another one of those. Example 3. The sum of y and the number 6 is negative 14. The sum of y and the number 6 is negative 14. Okay, let's go through this. So we have y as our variable. Better write that down. We've got the sum of y and the number 6. Sum means to add, so we are adding the number 6. Okay? Is negative 14. Oh, equals negative 14. There we go. There's our equation. Y plus 6 equals negative 14. Put a line down the middle, get rid of the 6. Move it to the other side and subtract it. We're going to have our answer. So we're going to have y equals negative 14 and negative 6. That adds up to negative 20. Same signs, add and keep. Negative 20 is our answer. There we go. All right, guys, so that just kind of wraps up this video here. The reason we're working on translating math and English sentences is because eventually we're going to get into these complicated story problems or real-life problems where we have to write the equation ourselves before we're solving it. Not very often in the real world does someone come up and say, hey, here's an equation, solve for x. But a lot of times you have to write your own equation for something. So it's good to start practicing that now. So I hope that made a lot of sense, and I'll see you guys in class. Thanks. Bye.